This is a book I keep going back to time and time again. It's almost like a common sense guide to implementing common sense, because as you know, common sense isn't often turned into common practice. But this book seems to capture that, and it's got a huge application not only to your personal life but also to business life. Common sense tends to span most of those boundaries anyway. But he talks basically about 7 habits that, if you practice them, will lead and develop your life in ways that can be quite transformative. One of the first things he talks about is beginning with the end in mind. That's having a blueprint or a vision for where you want to be in 5 years. We've talked about that before in and around, for it being a really good thing for a business to have a blueprint and a direct sense of direction, because most people who aim at nothing hit it with remarkable accuracy at the end. So that's the first habit. The second one is to be proactive in what you do, not reactive. So the world never comes to you. You've got to go out and get it. So if you want to make something happen, you've got to get up and do it. It won't just, the fairy godmother doesn't turn up at your door. Really good advice. And then when it comes to achieving goals, the third habit becomes particularly relevant, and that's putting first things first. Because sometimes we can all work like busy fools, and the really important things, which may not be quite urgent, get sidelined, and we tend to do the busy stuff. So putting first things first, another great habit of an effective person. And then we morph into looking, I suppose, they're all personal type of habits. And then you morph, if you can, across into looking at your interaction with others. And the fourth habit builds upon that when it asks you, seek first to understand and then be understood. A really good piece of business advice to anyone looking at problem solving. Understand what's happening out there and then try and get your own point of view of that. The results tend to be a lot more positive, a lot more synergistic for everybody. And that's another one of the habits, by the way. Always try and synergize. So the solution 1 and 1 isn't always 2. 1 and 1 can make 3 if you find the right synergistic solutions, especially so in businesses when you're building long-term sustainable relationships. And the 6th habit itself falls out of that, which is always think win-win. So you've got to make the deal good for both sides, for both people on both sides of the table, so that builds endurance into business relationships. So think win-win. And the final thing is always challenge yourself. Sharpen the saw, he talks about. Train. You're never too old to learn. So always focus on training and upskilling yourself. Even when you're getting on a few years like I am myself, you can always learn something new. That's the 7 habits. Hugely powerful. I'd recommend anyone to read it.